Someone asks if you liked their cooking. You say yes, it was fine. That tiny lie felt easier than the truth. But what if being honest didn't have to cause a problem at all?
How can you stop telling little lies?
Yes, well, the first step is to actually notice when you are lying, and more importantly, why. There is almost always a trigger, some question or situation that creates discomfort, and the lie is simply the path of least resistance. Now, the rational approach is to run a quick trade off short term ease versus long term trust, because small lies do compound, yes. So, what you want to do is prepare in advance. Have a handful of honest but minimal responses ready. You do not need to overshare, you simply need to be accurate. And if a question feels loaded, address the intent of it rather than panicking and fabricating something. And then, well, track the situations where honesty creates friction and adjust your wording, not your truthfulness. It is a system, really, and systems can be improved with data. Put simply, prepare your honest answers before you need them.
How can you stop telling little lies?
Okay, so the thing is, if lying feels safe, you're not just going to stop doing it because someone said so. That's not how it works. So what actually helps is starting really small, like low stakes stuff. Tell a friend you don't love the restaurant instead of saying it's fine. Just tiny things. Prove to yourself that a little honesty doesn't blow everything up, because most of the time, it doesn't. And then, the other thing is learning how to say no without it becoming a whole drama. Like you can just say you'd rather not get into that, and that's it. That's a real option. You don't have to explain everything. Having those calm little exits ready means you're not panicking and just making something up on the spot. I don't know, it just feels less terrifying when you got a plan, you know?
A little lie is a habit. It has a structure, a trigger occurs, an automatic response fires, and then there is relief. That loop repeats until it is the default. To interrupt it, you need a pause between the trigger and the response. One breath. That is enough time to choose something different. Then you need prepared responses that are both polite and accurate. Do not wait until the moment arrives to figure out what to say. Write them down in advance if necessary. Also, create simple rules for yourself. Do not invent reasons. Do not promise what you cannot deliver. These are not difficult rules, but they must be decided before the pressure arrives, not during it. The goal is to make honesty the default setting, not a decision that requires effort each time. If the honest response is already loaded and ready, you do not need willpower. You just need to follow the system.
How can you stop telling little lies?
Oh, sweetheart, I think a lot of us tell little lies because we're trying to protect the other person or protect the relationship, and that comes from a really caring place. But here's the thing, we can be honest and still be warm. Those two things aren't fighting each other. It's all in how we deliver it. Validate how the other person feels, show them you're on their side, and then be honest. Like, instead of saying yes to something you can't do and then letting someone down, you say, I can't do tonight, but Saturday works really well for me. That's still caring, that's still thoughtful. And honestly, dear, when we start being real with the people we love, most of the time, the relationship gets stronger, not weaker, because they know they can trust us. And that trust is what keeps us all close.
Oh, baby, this is really about deciding who you want to be when you open your mouth. Because every time you tell one of those little lies, you are choosing a version of yourself that is performing instead of living. And that is exhausting. So start practicing saying what you actually mean. Not in a harsh way, not in a way that knocks someone over, but in a way that is honest and kind and real. Say, I don't know when you don't know. Let your actual preferences be seen. Admit the small imperfections. Honey, nobody needs you to be perfect. They need you to be you. The more comfortable you get just being a real human being out in public, the less you need that little mask. And once you put the mask down, sweetie, you'll wonder why you ever picked it up in the first place.
How can you stop telling little lies?
My child, when someone tells a small lie, they are rarely trying to deceive. They are trying to keep the peace. They feel cornered by the moment, and they reach for whatever will make it smooth again. That is a very human instinct, but the smoothness does not last. It has to be maintained, and that maintenance quietly wears a person down. The gentler path is not brutal honesty. It is honest simplicity. A few kind words prepared in advance. A little tolerance for awkward silence. A boundary held without a long explanation. These are not grand gestures. They are small acts of courage practiced in ordinary moments. Over time, something shifts. the relief no longer comes from slipping past a moment with a lie. It comes from being someone whose words mean what they say. That is a quieter kind of freedom, but it is a lasting one.
If you made it this far, you're gonna want to see what comes next. Hit subscribe so you don't miss our next video, and click the video on screen now to keep learning more. See you in the next video.